Hey folks, Ted from Nerd Immersion here. Let's talk mundane items added in Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Now, this is not something that comes up too often, but they're usually not a separate section in the book, right? Magic items are magic items. They get their own separate section. There are other mundane items usually sprinkled throughout. It's kind of like the Pride Silk outfit found in Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. That's not a new magic item because it's not magic. So you need to know where it is in the book if you want to find it. So thankfully, on the D&D Beyond forums, this is listed under bugs and support, Icewind Dale Rimes of Frostmaiden issues and support thread. And what they'll basically do is start updating things as soon as possible, and they give you other cool information, which I really like. So it'll say errata and updates because there are some adjustments that were made, and then it'll give you like race changes, spells that were added, equipment that was added, and then other things that were new magic items, the whole secret section of Icewind Dale. But we're going to be looking primarily at the new mundane items in this video. So if we take a look right here, you can see character options equipment. Chapter 1 has these, and I'm proud to say that I did actually see these on my read through. So we're going to go ahead and open them all up and read them. This is a thing, if D&D Beyond, if you're watching, this is what I would like to change. I would love if, just like with magic items and races and monsters, where you put the little qualifier in the bottom right where they were added, I would love if you could do that to standard equipment. And let me show you why. And I realize that this isn't really the purpose of this video, but so see, like, it's got here these things. These are all player's handbook. But if I scroll down, see there's a notes column here, and it just gives you, like, people can tag things with, like, communications, utility, and so on. But did you see this? How all the things that were from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, they tagged with Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. And again, I realized that that's a separate book and, like, world, but they didn't do that for Eberron. I don't think Eberron got things tagged out for them specifically. So like, let's say I go here and I search Eberron. Let's see if anything comes up. The thing is called an Eberron Dragon Sharp. It's not even listed as Eberron here, but if I search Wildmount, everything that's tagged as Wildmount I can now see. And that would be like a really simple thing, or add a filter that lets me sort from the source, so I can figure this out easily, because there are other things, like there's a hang glider, I think, in Strahd's, Horde. There's a hang glider, and that's not, like, covered anywhere unless you're looking for it. Anyway, cold weather gear. This outfit consists of a heavy fur coat or cloak over layers of wool clothing, as well as fur-lined hat or hood, goggles, boots, etc. As long as cold weather clothing remains dry, its wearer automatically succeeds on the saving throw against the effects of extreme cold. So if you're unfamiliar and you look up extreme cold, I think I've done a video on this, I thought, but it's here in this section of the book here. A creature exposed to the cold must succeed on a DC 10 saving throw at the end of each hour or gain a level of exhaustion. Creatures with resistance or immunity to cold damage automatically succeed on the saving throw, as do creatures wearing cold weather clothing. Next up, we have crampons, which are basically metal spikes added to your boots to keep you from... I actually thought crampons were like a thing that you compressed and put into cracks in, like, stone to make like an automatic handhold for climbing. But I think I'm mistaken. So a metal plate with spikes that is strapped to the sole of the boot. Creature wearing crampons can't fall prone while moving across slippery ice. We have things like this, obviously the traditional kind. Yak tracks are another thing in the real world that a lot of people, myself included, has used. That you can just, use to walk on snowy terrain and not trip. We have snowshoes. Snowshoes reduce the likelihood of the wearer getting stuck in deep snow. No mechanics here. Use your own judgment. We have a dog sled, which is a new vehicle type. An empty sled costs 20 GP, weighs 300 pounds, and has a room at the back for one driver. We have a sled dog, which is essentially just a wolf. Uses a wolf stat block, costs 50 GP, can pull 360 pounds. Sled dogs must take a short rest after pulling a sled for 1 hour. Otherwise, they gain 1 level of exhaustion. I know it's in here somewhere with the sled dogs. Let's see if we look up sled. Or dog sled, that's what we'll look up. Dog sled. It doesn't tell you how many dogs you need to use a dog sled. So they can move it at 1 mile an hour. Or maybe I misread it. Dogs are expensive, require food and water. The speed characters can travel across Icewind Dale, snowy tundra. Ice Wilson there. Mountain travel. Yeah, I don't believe it tells you how let's see. Sled dogs. Yeah, I don't think it actually tells you how many sled dogs you need to pull a dog sled. I mean, we've all seen movies and things, so we know it should probably not be 1 dog, it should be multiple, but I don't believe I saw a requisite number either way. And then lastly, we have the Axepeak, which we just saw. An Axepeak's splayed toes allow it to run across snow, and it can carry as much weight as a mule. A domesticated Axepeak can be purchased in 10 towns for 50 gold. An animal pulling a carriage, cart, chariot, sled, or wagon can move weight up to 5 times its base carrying capacity, including the weight of the vehicle. If multiple animals pull the same vehicle, they can add their carrying capacity together. So that sort of answers actually my question. But remember I was telling you about how much I love the art for Icewind Dale? Here's a perfect example. So if you've never seen an Axepeak before, they've existed, they've been in the player's handbook since the start. And they are large size, so they can be ridden, and they're actually not like ineffective if you were to happen to use one in combat or have that come up, but like this snowy version of it just looks amazing. I love this. It also very much gives me a Tauntaun vibe, and we're gonna be in Icewind Dale in a crazy snowstorm that's damn near close to being in Hoth, and this thing looks like a Tauntaun. Just don't get eaten by a Wampa. And that is it for the mundane equipment, as far as I could see, contained in Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden. Let me know what your thoughts are. Maybe if you guys are interested, I can go back and touch on other mundane equipment. I did Explorer's Guide to Wildmount because that one caught my attention. But if you want to see me cover other unique mundane items that were included in the past, let me know. There are some, like Tomb of Annihilation, for example, had like bug spray and water catchers and other things like that. Let me know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons over on Patreon for continuing to support me and the channel. I will see you all next time.